Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Camera.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
9 here on Big Conversation. That's the second part of the show in our visual radio studio. We call it Room 899. You can call it as that as well. Anyways, so we've had a great show so far. We'll be getting into our conversation this morning. It's very interesting. You'd really want to stick and stay on this one. But before we do that, reminder on Big Brother Season 9 is happening live on DSTV channel 198 and 149 on Go TV. Available on these two channels. Stay plugged into all the drama and dial star 759 hash to stay connected on there. Now, also, do you want a British degree at a fraction of the cost? Do you want a vibrant student experience in a community that equips you with useful employability skills, taking you a step closer to the career of your dreams? Then enjoy all these and more, plus up to 50% scholarship for your degree at Lancaster University, Ghana. Now, be taught by the finest faculty, trained to UK standards in their ultra-modern campus. If you want more information, just go onto the website. It's lancaster.edu.gh. Or you can also send them an email on admissions@lancaster.edu.gh or call 0209607008. That's 0209607008. Like they say, Lancaster University is the only British university campus here in West Africa. Great news today. If you're planning on having lunch with your family, friends as well during lunchtime, great ideal place for you to go to will be Live Resto Lounge. It's in East Legon, down Bauleshi Road, La Bauleshi Road in East Legon. It's also open for brunch from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. There's tozafi, omuto, groundnut soup, fufu, light soup, you name them, all there. Chicken, goat's meat, red fish, all there for you. You can also place a call on 020-133-7766. That's 020-133-7766 to experience Live Resto Lounge. Like they say, eat hot and eat good. Whilst you are at that, look, we know that Kosum Bodam is big, but Betway's cash out may be bigger. Well, they have a new enhanced feature. That's the early partial and auto cash out feature that lets you cash out bets early during the bet, or you can set it to an automatic cash out as well. All this to give you way more control over every thrilling bet you place. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Betway gets way more. Then lastly, also quick reminder to brush your teeth morning and evening with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, and the Herbal Toothpaste. Well, for the charcoal, it's made from natural charcoal, lemon, mint, zinc in there. This will help whiten your teeth. It will strengthen your teeth, remove bad odor from your mouth, and polishes away all the stains. And also with the herbal toothpaste, it's made from herbal extracts and green tea, I beg your pardon, and formulated to repair and protect your gums whilst giving you an all-round cooling sensation. So don't forget, brush your teeth morning and evening with Pepsodent natural toothpaste or the herbal toothpaste. Well, now this morning in our conversation, we are digging in deep into understanding a bit more about the functionality of this of the Du Bois Center. It's very important. Now, this morning we are honored to have Mr. Japhet Ayiku. He's the Executive Director for the Du Bois Museum Foundation here with us this morning for a great conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you.
Yes.
Good morning.
Welcome to our home.
Yes.
It's good to have you. It's an honor.
Thank you. It's just amazing to be among young people such as you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, he's in his early 60s.
Please.
Early 20s. You all are young people.
Jay doesn't like peace of mind. For the first time, you are being referred to as a young person. You appreciate it.
Wonderful young people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was telling Lenny this morning that we're going to be asking these questions based on a layman's misunderstanding and the curiosity we have around. We've heard about the Du Bois Center, Du Bois Foundation. We've heard so much about it. We've driven past it in cantonments. Yes, several times. Most of us don't even know what happens there.
Okay.
So today we want to just understand everything about it as well. Cyril has been giving us a bit of knowledge, but we don't trust it. No. We want it from the horse's own mouth.
Okay.
So welcome to the show. Please, what is the Du Bois Center?
The Du Bois Center.
Yes.
Well, okay, so first of all, I want to ask all of you, have all of you been there to visit the Du Bois Center?
Confession, no.
To tour the center?
No.
Not to tour.
Not a tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use the word tour because I do know that a lot of people go there for different events. Either parties, weddings, funerals, and all of that. Which is not what the Du Bois Center was set out to be. It's supposed to be a legacy site to honor the legacy of W.E.B. Du Bois, the greatest African American intellectual of all times, who was invited by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in 1961 at the age of 93 to come to Ghana to launch the Encyclopedia Africana. Now, what is Encyclopedia Africana? It is to be a document documenting the achievement of black people to world history, civilization, and culture. That's what he came here to do at the age of 93. He died at the age of 95. He was only here for 2 years in 1963.
He did not die in Ghana, though.
He died in
Ghana.
He died in Ghana. He died in Ghana on August 27, 1963. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here in Accra. I live in New York, and I'll tell more about my background and all of that. But we are here to commemorate the 61st anniversary of the passing of Dr. Du Bois in 1963. It's going to be happening on Tuesday, the 27th of August. At the center.
At the center.
At the center. And I want all of you to be there. You have to come.
We will be there.
Okay. There are two programs that we have.
Okay.
One program is in the morning from about 10 o'clock to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That program is a symposium. We have invited a number of Du Bois scholars from the U.S. Now, this is the third time that we're doing this program. The Du Bois scholars will come and talk about the life and times of Du Bois to educate the Ghanaian youth about who Du Bois was, his contribution to world peace and all of that.
I was actually going to ask about that, so
Yes.
we'll save a bit of that for later.
For
but
later.
We'll still just get to know a little bit more about W.E.B. Du Bois.
Absolutely. So the one of the scholars is called Karina Brown. She's a professor at Emory University in Atlanta. She just wrote a book called The New Brownies. The Brownies.
New Brownies.
Yeah, the New Brownies. Yeah.
Okay,
so
I like that.
Du Bois in his time had a little magazine called The Brownies, where he sort of talked to young people how to behave themselves, particularly young women, how to carry themselves well. So this young lady, this professor, has come up with a new edition called The New Brownies. She's going to be here. It will be wonderful for you all to meet him.
The new league of black
Young girls.
Young girls.
Okay.
Yep. Young girls have to behave themselves, how to carry themselves well in a more elite and sophisticated ways.
Okay.
So
because where it's going to now, it's scary.
Oh, I'm really interested in that.
Yes.
You meet her. She's a wonderful. In fact, she won an award this past July, NAACP award, for being publishing this book here.
Okay.
And then the other speaker is his name Howard French. Howard French was a reporter with the New York Times. Was based in West Africa. He's written a number of books. He has a monumental book coming out about Kwame Nkrumah called The New Emancipation. It's about Kwame Nkrumah documenting his achievement and the things that he tried to do. So he's also going to be here. And then we have a professor from the University of Ghana, Department of Sociology, who's also going to be here. So that is going to be celebrated in the morning from 10 to about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Then in the afternoon, we have a wreath-laying ceremony.
Okay.
Where we are going to lay wreath in the tomb of Du Bois. The American Ambassador is going to lay a wreath. The Du Bois Museum Foundation is going to lay a wreath. And then the great-grandson of Du Bois, his name is Jeffrey Peck. He's going to be here.
Where was he laid? Where was he buried? Sorry.
Oh, Du Bois?
Yes.
Du Bois is buried at the cantonments. Yeah, there's a tomb. There's a tomb for him in the cantonment. And in fact,
at the center.
At the center.
At the back.
Oh.
Yeah. You see the pictures of the people that are coming.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. He's buried at the center. So the little history behind this is this: that when Du Bois died in 1963, he was first buried in the castle, in Kwame Nkrumah's office, in the castle. Yep. Because this is, Kwame Nkrumah is his father. I look up to him. And he was going to be a shining light to guide Africa and its emancipation and its development and all of that. Now, unfortunately, and we'll talk a little bit about that, there was a coup d'etat in 1966 that changed the whole course of Ghana and African history. So when the military got into the castle, they got scared. They didn't know what to do with the boys in the office. They were worried. So they moved his body from the ground and made a hole in the castle wall facing the Atlantic and put the casket in there. For several years. For several years. Until Jelly Rawlings, former president, came to power. And of course, he is of my age. And we all grew up under the Nkrumah legacy and the ideology and all of that. So we believe in Pan-Africanism and so on and so forth. So Jelly Rawlings and the people around him said, we need to honor this great man. So they decided to establish the Du Bois Center in 1985 and move the body from the castle and reburied it at the cantonment where he lived. Where he lived. The bungalow that you see when you come there is where the Du Boises lived. Kwame Nkrumah gave the bungalow to them. That's where they lived. And they put up what they call a gazebo, a little resting area with Hamlet and all that. And the friends came there to visit. That's where they stayed and had their conversations. So that gazebo was turned into the tomb.
Which is still there till date.
Which is there today. That's where they buried him.
And assuming the body should, it's decayed, but the body's there.
The body's there. So technically, that place is a cemetery. Technically, that place is a cemetery. Du Bois and the ashes of his wife, Shirley Graham, who died in 1977 in China, is also interred there. So the wife's ashes is in a bucket next to the husband. At the center. You need to come.
We are coming there today.
We shall give you a special tour.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm here. So we're going to be laying wreath. American Ambassador, the W.E.B Du Bois Museum Foundation, the family of Du Bois, Jeffrey Peck, is going to lay a wreath, and the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will also lay a wreath on behalf of the government and people of Ghana.
Okay, this is going to be a huge function.
Absolutely.
We are booking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 seats. All right.
It's reserved for you guys.
Let's get to know the man a bit more. I know we'll find out all when we come there, but just for the benefit of those who are listening to us from outside, and wherever and can't get the chance, let's get to know Du Bois a bit more, because we've heard, but I think the connection to the young Ghanaian now is there's a missing link.
Absolutely, and it's rather sad that there's a missing link between the Du Bois legacy and the young Ghanaians. In fact, not just the young Ghanaians, but almost every Ghanaian here. There are prominent reporters and newspaper people. When you ask them, "Have you been to Du Bois?" They say, "Oh no, but I was there for a function." That's all, and it's very sad. And that is because I always say that the coup d'etat of 1966, the effect of the coup d'etat of 1966 has not been felt yet, has not been written yet, because when that coup happened in 1966, Jay, I want to find out, Jay.
Yeah, I told you.
Lenny?
No, this was complicated.
Okay, when that coup happened, any and all things related and connected with Kwame Nkrumah was persona non grata in Ghana. Everything that had to do with Kwame Nkrumah's name or
ideologies,
everything was destroyed. The bungalow was raided, and books were torn, books were burned, books were stolen from the bungalow.
Information loss.
So information loss. For more than 60 years now, the legacy of Du Bois lay dormant here in Ghana. Nobody talk about Du Bois. In the meantime, the U.S. government in the U.S. had been trying to suppress the man's legacy because he spoke his mind. This is the man who is the first African American to get a PhD from Harvard in 1895. The first African American to get a PhD from Harvard University. He started by going to a black college. From the black college, he came to Harvard, did another bachelor's degree and a master's degree. They forced him to do another bachelor's degree in Harvard and a master's degree in Harvard and a PhD. And even when he had done his PhD and finished his PhD as the first African American to get that degree, Harvard did not offer him a position. They didn't. This is a man with a PhD from Harvard. They didn't offer him a position.
Was it racial discrimination?
You bet it was. You bet it was. Okay? In fact, there's a history about him being in Boston, unable to go to the Harvard restaurant. Whenever he got in there, all the white students just walked out. Because he was black. But he stayed the course. And when he finished his PhD, it was University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, in Pennsylvania, that gave him a chance to do a study. They wouldn't even give him a lectureship or be a tutor. They just gave him a project. Study the Negroes of Philadelphia. That study was the most scientific sociological study ever undertaken in the United States. It's called the Philadelphia Negro. It's called the Philadelphia Negro. Okay. You have to get that book. There's a book out there. It's called the Philadelphia Negro. Incredible study where he studied the economic, the social, and educational, everything about the Negroes in Philadelphia, and published it scientifically to tell the world what the Negro was going through in Philadelphia. And with that and all of the studies, guess what? He was invited to the 1900 Paris show. They had a show in Paris, okay, from all over the world, and he was invited to participate. So his exhibition was the advancement of the Negro in America 50 years after emancipation, where he talked about the economic, social, and political advancement of the black people in America 50 years after they were liberated, when Abraham Lincoln liberated them from slavery. That exhibition won a gold medal for him. And that the things that he used is in the Library of Congress. We're hoping that we're going to bring a replica of that here to Ghana to show to the public. So I'm saying all of this to say that Du Bois was an extraordinary man. The first book that he wrote is called, a seminal book is called, I'm just blanking a little bit. This is about the Negro. The first book that he wrote about the Negro, talking about how and his own experiences. It's called Souls of Black Folk.
Souls of Black Folk.
Souls of Black Folk, 1903.
Souls of Black Folk. That is the first seminal book that he really wrote about documenting the challenges of the Negro, his own challenges.
Okay, so how have we, since he was brought to Ghana, how have we kept his legacy, on? What have we done since then, time immemorial till now? Have there been any activities that have happened to impact, or to amplify, just to popularize his legacy? And then the second question would be, how come now the place, because you mentioned it's been used for various things, parties and all of that. Is that what it was intended for?
Okay. Yeah, so we believe we have a big challenge on our hand, that is to be able to educate the Ghanaian public about who Du Bois was and is, and his impact on Ghana's freedom and Africa emancipation. And I always go back to the coup of 1966, because once that happened, everything was suppressed and all of that, so we never talk about Du Bois. And again, all credit to former President Jill Rawlings, who established the Du Bois Center for Pan-African Culture. The intention was to celebrate and to educate the public about the contribution of Du Bois and Kwame Nkrumah and all of that. I think the first 4 or 5 years of its existence, that was well intended. They did very well with that. And I think along the way, the objective just sort of fell apart. And they began, they weren't putting the right people there to manage the place, and so they began to do different things to raise money to support the place and all that. So we're renting the ground and for all these things here.
So what is there? Sorry, Lenny, I know you have questions, but what is there now?
Now to be celebrated.
Then. In fact, let's start from then and now.
Yeah. So what they did was that they took the bungalow and all the books. The most precious things there now are his books and papers that he brought along with him. He brought along about 1,500 books with him and collected some more books when he was here. Some of the books have margins, have writings on the margins in terms of his questions and all that, and all that. So they are there. And for the past 61 years, Jay, the books have not been cared for. Your heart will sink. Your heart will sink if you see the condition of the books. They are decaying.
It's fine. Fort Princess Time has been washed off. I think three quarters is gone. So we like to wash things away.
And for books as well, it's easy for rodents and stuff to.
It's just sad. Okay, so priceless. And in addition to that, his academic robes. He got, Ghana gave him gowns and all. They're all falling apart. If you touch them, they're all going to fall apart. So this is what I was exposed to. Now, I've been away from Ghana for quite a long time. None of you were born when I left here. That's why I'm happy to be in your midst.
Thank you.
We are honored.
So we're doing some work in Ghana. We're still doing work in Ghana here. And one of our board members said to me, Jafet, have you been to the Du Bois Center lately? I said, no, I haven't been. They said, well, you have to go there and see what's happening. And I went there. My heart just sank. I said, something got to be done. The tomb is small and it's dirty. I mean, the carpet is so dirty and all of that. The books are decaying. And this is an important man. And this is what we have. And I always say...
was nobody in charge? Sorry to ask those hard questions, but was nobody in charge?
Well, I don't want to get into, into all of that. It becomes a little bit, But what I do know is that, just the place is falling apart. Books have to be kept in special conditions and all that to make sure that the elements, don't destroy them. So I really felt sorry, and I said, I might try to do something here, okay? So I met with the board at that time. This was back in 2016, 2015. And I said I wanted to do something. So it's, you Americans, you come, you talk, you go, you don't do anything. And it's true. Americans, there are a lot of people who come and make all kinds of promises. In fact, when we started this project here, people have made all kinds of promises to me, and I don't hear back from them again. So they did say that, but I told them, I said, I'm a Ghanaian American. I'm not just an American. I'm a Ghanaian American, and I will do something. So anyway, so I started a conversation, and we've gotten to a point where elections have consequences, of course. So 2016, there was an election. The Mahama government, with whom I was dealing with, they lost the election. A new government comes into power, and Nado comes to power. I start all over again, and luckily for me, I was able to meet President Nado in March of 2019 at Harvard. There was a program at Harvard that I attended. I got to meet with him. We had a conversation. I told him about my interests. He said, well, when you come to Ghana, come and visit with me. His secretary, Nana Bidia 12, very nice guy with whom I've been working very closely with. I came to Ghana in May of 2019. I told him I'm here. He set up a meeting for me to meet with the president. Met with him and brought out the idea that, Mr. President, we have some Du Bois scholars in the U.S. who are very interested in trying to rebuild and refurbish the Du Bois Center, and that the place is falling apart. Now, I don't know if he has ever been there, but he said, sure, that's a good idea. Look into it. Okay? Now, of course, this is the year of the return, 2019. So it was very exciting. That was in May. He came to New York in September of 2019 at the UN Assembly. I then got together all the Du Bois scholars who have expressed interest in this project. Henry Louis Gates is a professor at Harvard. I'm sure you heard about him. Anthony Kwame Appiah, the son of the old Joe Appiah, is a Du Bois scholar. Then we got Deborah Rose, Daniel Rose. These are all very important people in the U.S. I got them all together and they met with the president. And they talked to him about what we can possibly do. That it would be easy for us to raise maybe $15, $20, $30 million to come and refurbish the place here. The president said, listen, I'm sold on it. You don't even have to, I am sold. Whatever you guys can do, it's very, very good for Ghana. So rather than we decided that, okay, if we're going to build a new museum, who's the best person to design this museum? We are in America. The best person to design this museum is a person whose design created the Museum of African American History and Culture, David Ajay. In Washington, D.C., I don't know if any of you have been to the U.S. Have you?
Yeah. Not yet, but...
Any of you?
Yeah.
Jay, have you been to, did you go to Washington?
No,
Who
I
did
went to chill.
Where?
I went to chill.
You went to have fun.
Where did you go?
LA and just New York and Jersey, that's all.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I live in New York. All right, so I guess
I'm on the next trip. I'm coming home.
I'm inviting all of you. All of you
Okay.
guys are coming to Washington. Are coming to the U.S. Okay. Invitation for all of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
all right. So, who best to build it? The Washington Museum of African American History and Culture. I mean, fantastic edifice. It was David Ajay who designed it. So his name was not too difficult to come up with. And he's a Ghanaian.
And he's Ghanaian, yeah.
He's a Ghanaian, and we're doing the project in Ghana. So Henry Louis Gate put up his name. They said, how about David? They said, yeah, David would be a great choice. So we, the board, selected David Ajay to be the designer for the project. I'm hearing some rumors that, hey, why did we choose him? He has all the contracts here in Ghana. We don't know anything about him. We don't know anything about what he's doing here in Ghana. All we know is that he's a fantastic architect, and we settled on him. He has a track record. That's why we settled on him. And Lenny, within 3 months, David had come up with the whole architecture. We met with the president again. We said, Mr. President, this is how it's going to look like. He said, fantastic. You guys negotiate through my ministry. Then we started. The most difficult negotiation with the ministry. Now, we have gone to 3 ministers. We started with Barbara Otijesi.
Okay.
Yeah.
The former minister. We started with her. Wonderful lady. We negotiated. We got in some MOU done. And then there was an election in 2020. Elections have consequences. Guess what? She lost her seat. So she was replaced with a new minister.
So you had to start the process again.
Thank you. It took a while for him to be confirmed. And then when it was confirmed, he says, I need some time to know what you guys are trying to do. So after we met with him, we went through all of it again, and we're going through the negotiations, and then finally we were able to sign the agreement. But then he was also changed. Now we have a new minister, Honorable Mesa. So we're going through 3 ministers. But all in all, I've stuck with it because I know it's a good project to do. What we are talking about is a group of people in the U.S. who are going to raise money between $50 to $85 million, Jay. We're going to raise money all over the world to come and rebuild the Du Bois Center into a befitting memorial for this greatest African American intellectual of all times.
When I think about the Du Bois Center, I think about culture and its promotion and propagation. I'm saying this because I remember several years back, there was By the Fireside, which Mame Dokno was doing. Yes, and I remember going there at school, because they used to do it school-based. So there was a time where my school Golden Age School was also doing By the Fireside. So that was my first time as a really little child going there to act. And it's very cultural. By the Fireside just promotes culture, the Ghanaian setting, and all of that. In all of the new things that are going to happen with the renovation and all of that, is there going to be a focus or a refocus on culture and its promotion as well?
Absolutely. We have in mind that we are going to promote culture, we're going to promote education. First of all, we need to educate the entire Ghanaian population about who Du Bois was and his contribution. The whole African nation about how Du Bois helped in the emancipation of the African continent. All of the African leaders, Jomo Kenyatta, Kenneth Kaunda, Kamuzu Banda, Nnamdi Azikiwe, all of them were young men that Du Bois sort of mentored in the UK when they were all studying for their degrees. And he told them, go back to the continent and liberate the continent and all of that. So yes, we are, in fact, we are going to have along the strips various booths for artists
Okay.
For them to be able to show their wares and all of that. So absolutely, we are going to be celebrating the African culture at the center.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I also think that there's a disconnect between this generation and whatever history you've downloaded today. I mean, it's just been a short time, but you've said a lot, right? There's been a disconnection. How are you looking to, you and the team, looking to reviving that again and to making sure that there's as much interest as you have? Saying it because also our generation and yours are years and years apart, right? Your interest in what W.E.B. Du Bois did may be at its peak, but for us it may be dwindling or even non-existent, you know, at all. So handing over to the next generation and making sure that they are also leading the way, in doing, you know, whatever you, the team, and the generation are doing.
Yeah, good question. Good question. And that's, again, I'll go back to the fact that we have a challenge on our hand in trying to educate the people about the legacy of Du Bois. But for the young people, one of the things that I would like to mention here is that I met Du Bois when I was 14 years old.
Oh.
When I tell that story, it's like, every time, oh, wow, he met Du Bois when he was 14 years old.
I'm going to check the age then.
Well, it's so I can tell my age. I'm 75. I just turned 75 on May 8th, this past May 8th.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Yep, I just turned 75. Yes, thank you. No, so I say that because I went to a school library for library reading. And as we were going through the shelves, the first book that I picked up was a rectangular book. The title of the book, Souls of Black Folk. Wow, W.E.B. Du Bois. A 14-year-old African boy. I never spoke English at home, you know, the local Ghanaian languages and all that. I'm in high school. I opened up the book. It's a difficult book to read. But for some strange reason, the second chapter, the first paragraph of the second chapter is where my awakening happened. It says, the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. Listen to this now carefully. The problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. The relationship between darker skinned people of Africa, West Indies, and the lighter skinned people of Europe and the rest of the world, by W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois made a huge mistake, thinking that by the end of the 20th century, the problem of the relationship between black and white will have been solved. Huge mistake. The problem still exists today.
Yeah.
You heard about George Floyd.
Yes.
You heard about all the things that are happening. Madam, when you go to America today, you get some benefit because of the civil rights and all that, but you are a black woman. There are some places you don't want to go there.
And it's believed that black women are the least in line in the arrangement, because then there's a white man, there's a white woman, and then there's a black man, and then there's a black woman. So a lot of things are against you. First you're black and then you're a woman.
Well, although the black women are now asserting their intelligence and their power. Kamala Harris, we're going to have the first woman president, and she happens to be white.
I see where your mood has gone now. Donald Trump will not be happy to hear this.
I'm in Ghana. I mean, so I give that quote to you to say that the young people need to know that there are problems around the world in terms of how we live together. Look at what's happening in the Middle East. Look at what's happening in the Middle East. Look at what's happening. So the young people of this world, you need to grasp it. You need to know that, you know, we have some challenges here that we have to be careful in terms of the way that we talk to each other. So the black and white relationship still exists, and we need to embrace it. Now, you can translate that from black and white to tribe, religion to religion. Issues and problems. So we, the young people, you still have, you need to embrace the legacy of Du Bois to say that, you know, we need to find answers. Du Bois always looking for answers. He was always looking for answers to problems.
So let's go to the project now. When does it look like likely to start, and how long is it supposed to take, you know, to complete?
Yeah, thank you. So the project is divided into 2 phases. Okay, phase 1 is we're hoping to renovate the bungalow where the Du Boises lived. We want to create the environment, the way that it was when they lived there, complete with the period furniture, his bed and everything. That's what we want to do.
Oh, his bed is still there.
We're looking for the bed. We're looking for the bed and mattress. All of you can become my researchers. We're looking for the bed and mattress. So something curious that I'm finding is that the original bungalow used to stand on pillars, okay, but all of a sudden it has been enclosed. So I am hoping and praying that underneath the enclosure might be some furniture.
Stuff, yeah.
And so we're going to find out. But even if we don't find it, we're going to create the period furniture and really make it very nice, and then really show it to the public. That's the first phase of the project. The second phase is redo the tomb. It's just too small. It is crowded and it's dirty. It doesn't look good. Like I said, for this great man, okay, it doesn't look too good. So we're going to redo that. And then the other phase, then we are going to then build the museum that will have a new structure that will have the museum, that will have a library, and a book restoration.
Please let me ask this question before you continue. He's American, right?
He's a Ghanaian American.
He's Ghanaian. Okay, so not American Ghanaian. He's Ghanaian American.
Yeah, found out. It's Stevie Wonder.
Yep.
Okay, but by birth, he's
American.
He's American.
Yes.
Why hasn't the U.S. government, post all,
It's counterproductive for them.
I'm just asking why they haven't taken on this task.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if it may sound out of our space, but
no, it's good. Jay, it's a good question. It's a very good question. So, unfortunately, like I said, Du Bois spoke his mind. Okay. All the civil rights leaders, Martin Luther King, Karl Marx, Malcolm X, they all stand on the shoulders of Du Bois. He spoke out against the injustices that black people were facing in America. He spoke against the injustices of the colonial system, against Britain being, colonizing all these countries, Germany and all that. He spoke his mind, and he broke with the U.S. government when he saw that the U.S. government wasn't doing things right. So there was a time when they seized his passport. They revoked his passport. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Du Bois would not have died here in Ghana had his passport been renewed. In 1963, early part of 1963, he had a big health problem, and he wanted to go back to the U.S. So he tried to renew his passport at the American embassy. They refused to renew his passport for him.
As an American?
As an American. He had an American passport.
Wow.
They refused to renew the passport for him, so he couldn't travel. That's when Kwame Nkrumah gave him a Ghanaian citizenship and therefore a Ghanaian passport.
Okay.
And he traveled to Bucharest for the first surgery.
Okay.
It didn't go too well. He came back. He was in pain. You can just imagine. Pain. He went to London for a follow-up surgery. It didn't go too well. And he died in August
93?
1963.
I mean, he died at the age of
95.
I think life well.
Blessed.
Sure, absolutely.
He went beyond, he was celebrated.
But I'm sure he would have wanted to check out.
Right.
100.
No, as a better, maybe a better
Condition.
way or something.
Yeah. Okay, so the U.S. government has something against him, and it still goes on today. They haven't reconciled yet. In fact, there's an effort in Congress to come up with a proclamation, some kind of resolution reconciling the U.S. government with the Du Bois family.
But would they be present? Would any representative be present at the function?
The U.S. Ambassador is coming.
Okay.
The U.S. Ambassador is going to be there. No, I mean, individually, I think people are beginning to realize that also the U.S. government did wrong. So the U.S. Ambassador here, wonderful lady, she's been working very closely with us. Anytime there's a U.S. official that is coming to visit, they will alert me. I live in New York, but they will alert me that Jafet, it's a delegation coming, and I will fly back to Accra to host them at the Du Bois Center. So over the time, we've hosted Barbara Lee, who is a very powerful congresswoman in Congress. She's leading the effort to get this reconciliation done. Shirley Jackson Lee, who just passed away, I was part of the delegation who hosted him. And this past month, Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey, he was here. He visited the center. Hakeem Jeffries, who is going to be the next Speaker of Congress. If the Democrats take over Congress, he was here. We hosted him at the center. So individually, people are beginning to realize that what has been done to Du Bois, it's wrong. In fact, when Kamala Harris came here last year, I was here. I was invited to come, and I was here. We tried to get her to visit the Du Bois Center. Now, she couldn't because she was the vice president. And there's this still issue of the government versus, if she went there, that would be like a
declaration of support.
Exactly. And so we understood her. We understood why she couldn't go to visit. So we are hoping that, in the next 4 years or so, things will be different and we'll be able to get the U.S. government to recognize it. But even then, in the meantime, the U.S. Have been able to get the part of the U.S. Government to support this effort here.
That's
so,
great.
for example, in trying to preserve the books, we have an agreement with the Library of Congress. Now, Library of Congress is the area that keeps all the records of America. Okay? They are the premier preservation of books and all of that. They are supporting us for a period of 4 years. They have experts that are coming to train our people on how to preserve the Du Bois' books. In fact, the expert is coming this weekend to spend the time with us. So they are working with us. And the senators, they all said they're going to support it. So they're warming up. They're warming up to Du Bois' legacy. So we think we can get that. Yeah.
So hopefully they should be able to raise funds and kickstart this project.
Yes.
And then the second bit is the maintenance culture, which one of the things that as Ghanaians we know we are very bad at. Yes. For it to then now its functionality would now be as a museum. But I see in your cap it says Du Bois Museum Foundation. So this is what is moved. This is what it is now.
Yeah, okay, so how did that happen?
Yes.
Okay, so when I spoke to the president, when we started negotiating the agreement, we said that it's important for the center, as it is now, it's owned by the Ghana government and it's run by the Ghana government. We said that we will not be able to raise the money that we need to raise if it is still part of the Ghana government's portfolio. So therefore, we want it to be a standalone international non-profit entity. We want the Du Bois Center to be a non-profit standalone entity without any interference from the Ghana government.
Okay.
To be run by an international board of directors. To be run by an international board of directors made up of 3 members from the Ghana government, because after all, we are in Ghana, and 6 members from the Du Bois Foundation. Now, the Du Bois Foundation came about because when we decided to get into this in here, we have to form a foundation. In the U.S., they call it a non-profit foundation, and if you qualify, when somebody gives a donation, they are able to write it off of their taxes. I don't know whether they have the same thing here, to reduce their tax liability. So we formed this organization called Du Bois Museum Foundation to be able to raise the money. Okay, so that's how the Du Bois Foundation came about, and we have a sister organization here. So the Du Bois Foundation is the one that is going to manage the center.
Okay.
You talk about maintenance culture. I have, because of the father I've lived in here for a long time, I know about maintenance, how important it is to me. So we have said that whatever funds that is accrued from the operation of the center will go into maintaining the center.
Okay.
Jay, we're going to be employing more than 30 to 50 people at the center. More than 50 people at the center do all kinds of things between the maintaining the place, between the education programs that we're going to come up with, and all of that. About 50 people. That's it. We'll have to pay them, and we'll pay them very well, because if you don't pay them well, they will leave.
Yeah.
So we have to pay them very well. So how are we going to get them out to do that? We are not counting on the ticket sale. The little ticket sales are peanuts. What we are planning to do is that part of the $85 million that we are planning to raise will have an endowment, between $15 and $20 million endowment. And that is what we're going to use to run the center. That's number one. Number two, every year we are going to host a fundraising event every year here in Accra and in New York, on the margins of the UN Assembly, because Du Bois is a big name. And we're hoping that every year we're going to raise the money to bring the money to Ghana to maintain the center. Not a penny from the operation of the center here will be sent abroad, not a penny. Every money that's raised here will be plowed back into maintaining the center. Even that, in the agreement, there's a revenue share. People talk about revenue share. What is revenue share? In that, we're saying that whatever our net profit is at the end of the year, 5% of that will go into supporting other institutions here in Ghana.
Okay.
5% of our net profit. And our net profit, if we do things right, will be very small or next to nothing. Because again, we are plowing things into the foundation. So I don't see how, if people are talking about, well, you're going to be making money. Well, we're not expecting. That's not the objective. The objective of what we're trying to do is not to make money, to commercialize it. This is Du Bois. This is essential.
For preservation.
Preservation of the legacy, of the culture, of the intellectual prowess of this man, and get all of you young people to appreciate that. Wow, you don't give up. The man went through hell, Jay, in America. He was handcuffed. He was persecuted just for speaking his mind.
Well, time.
In the operations,
our time is
quick
up.
one,
Okay.
just is a really quick one. In operating the Du Bois Center after renovation,
right,
are you also considering the events again? Because now you did mention yourself, I'm sure most of us have also attended events at the Du Bois Center. Is that going to still be a part of earnings, how you're going to make some money from the center as well, when people should book for maybe events, their weddings, funerals, all of those things?
No.
Is it still going to be used for events?
No, we're not going to have.
No.
Okay. We'll have a conference center though.
Okay.
We'll have a conference center, and I think we're going to use the conference center to promote dialogue and important conferences and all of that. We think we can make the center an attraction for, say, NAACP, for example, the Urban League, the Black Accountant Association. We're going to encourage all of them to come to Ghana to have their conferences. So the biggest profit, the biggest advantage to the Ghana government is the foreign exchange earnings. That's going to happen when we open the center, because millions of people are going to come to Ghana to visit the Du Bois Center. That's where the government is going to make the most money. Millions of people. Wow. Not the ticket sales. Ticket sales are going to be peanuts. Peanuts.
Yes.
Okay?
No,
peanuts. It is the traffic.
Yeah. And
we're going to promote this this man, because he was a man of the world. In China, in the early part of the 60s, his birthday was a national holiday. Jay?
Oh.
Wow.
Yes, the birthday of Du Bois was a national holiday in China.
Wow.
Okay? He's known in Europe. He's known all over the world. So we are going to talk about the revival of the Du Bois Center here for the world to come and visit.
Interesting.
I always say, I mean, end with this. The rest of the world have little remnants of Du Bois. Little book here, article here, there. Ghana has the mortal remains of Du Bois.
Yes. The date again is 27th of August.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 2-part event. Invitations, I'm sure, will be by invitation, but beyond that, I'm sure it's open for.
It's open. Yeah, it's open to the public. Yeah.
Mr. Japheth Aiku, thank you so very much for joining us here this morning on the show. You've really enlightened us on the legacy of Du Bois in this very short time. And of course, for us here at 3 Music, I'm very sure we also throw our support in at any point in time to help amplify the legacy. And of course, we shall also do the little that we can to keep promoting and pushing. At this point in time, you can call me J. Du Bois.
Dear boys.
Dear boys.
Dear boy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
back
coming.
here same time tomorrow on Culture Daily, and we out.
Culture Daily was brought to you by Telecel.